Welcome to Daily Papers, the podcast where we break down fascinating new research. Today, we're talking about artificial intelligence, but maybe not in the way you're used to.
Right. Usually the conversation is about one of two things. Either how AI is going to make us super productive and change the economy, or how we need to make sure it doesn't, become Skynet and destroy us all.
Exactly. But this paper we're looking at today from W. Russell Neuman and Chad Coleman at NYU proposes something else entirely. It's called The Third Ambition: Artificial Intelligence and the Science of Human Behavior.
The third ambition. I like the sound of that. It's not about what AI can do for us or what it might do to us, but what it can tell us about us.
That's the core idea. The paper argues that we've been so focused on these first two ambitions, productivity and alignment, that we're missing a huge opportunity.
Okay, so let's quickly break down those first two just to set the stage. The first one, productivity, is pretty straightforward.
It's AI as a tool, using AI to write code faster, to automate tasks, to make businesses more efficient. It's the get things done ambition. This is what John McCarthy, one of the founders of AI, was talking about in the 1950s, the idea that you could describe intelligence so precisely that a machine could simulate it.
And it's been incredibly successful. It's in our search engines, our phone assistants, everything. Then you have the second ambition, alignment. This one is all about safety and ethics.
This is the how should AI behave question. As these systems get more powerful, we want to make sure they operate safely and according to human values. We don't want them to be biased or deceptive or to give out harmful instructions.
So productivity is what can AI do, and alignment is what should AI do. What then is this third ambition?
The third ambition is to use AI, specifically large language models or LLMs, as a scientific instrument. Think of it less as a tool or an agent and more like a giant, powerful microscope for studying human society.
Okay, so we should probably define what a large language model is. These are AIs like ChatGPT, Claude, and others that are trained on just an unimaginable amount of text and data created by humans.
Essentially a huge chunk of the internet: books, Wikipedia articles, news reports, forum discussions, blog posts, trillions of words that represent how we talk, think, argue, and tell stories.
And the paper uses a fantastic term for what these models become after absorbing all that data. They call them condensates of human symbolic behavior.
It's a great metaphor. Imagine you could take all that human text and squeeze it down, compress it, until you're left with this dense object that holds all the patterns, the connections, the biases, and the cultural assumptions from the original material. It's not the text itself, but a reflection of it.
So it's like a statistical mirror of our collective expression. The paper makes an analogy to other big scientific instruments. They say this is like the Large Hadron Collider for physics or large-scale genomic databases for biology.
Exactly. The telescope didn't invent theories about the stars, but it expanded what we could observe, forcing us to ask new questions. These LLMs could do the same for the social sciences. They give us a new way to observe the patterns of human culture at a scale we've never had before.
So how would a researcher actually use this? You can't just ask it, tell me about human culture.
No, you'd run experiments on it. For example, you could give it classic moral dilemmas like the trolley problem and analyze its reasoning. You could ask it the same question but tell it to respond from the perspective of different cultures or historical periods to see how the patterns change.
The paper calls this creating synthetic personas. You're not surveying real people, but you're probing this cultural condensate to see what kind of responses are plausible within it. It's a way to map out the landscape of human arguments and justifications.
But, and this is a really big but that the authors are very clear about, this mirror is a funhouse mirror. It's distorted.
Right. This is not a perfect, unbiased reflection of all of humanity. The data these models are trained on massively overrepresents Western, English-speaking, internet-using populations. It's a very specific slice of human expression.
And there's another problem, which the authors call the fine-tuning problem. The AI companies don't just release the raw model that's been trained on the internet. That would be chaotic and often offensive.
They fine-tune it. They train it further to be helpful, polite, and safe. They essentially add a layer of institutional morality on top of the raw cultural data.
Which is great if you want a helpful chatbot, but for a social scientist, it's a problem. It's like someone has polished the mirror so much that it erases some of the most interesting and revealing smudges and imperfections. The fine-tuning process can obscure the very cultural patterns you want to study.
So the authors aren't saying we should just trust what these AIs say as a perfect representation of human thought. It's the opposite. The limitations are part of the discovery.
Exactly. The biases in the data tell us whose voices dominate our global discourse. The way the models are fine-tuned tell us what our society, or at least the companies building these things, considers to be acceptable thought. It's a new kind of cultural artifact to study in and of itself.
So this third ambition isn't about replacing surveys or traditional research. It's a new observational tool that can complement them, helping to generate new hypotheses that can then be tested with old-school methods.
It's a starting point for new questions. It's a way of looking at ourselves, at our culture, our arguments, our morals, and our biases through a strange new lens.
So, to sum up, when we think about AI, we shouldn't just think about it as a new kind of worker or a potential risk. We should also see it as a new kind of observatory.
An observatory for human behavior. It's a powerful idea. The paper argues that if we approach this with caution and rigor, this third ambition could not only deepen our understanding of AI, but also sharpen our theories of human behavior itself.